Hi, this is Mrs. Nelson. I'm going to be showing you a subtraction strategy called maintaining a constant difference, or you can think about this as finding an equivalent expression. So I want to subtract 145 minus 39. So subtraction is just considering how far one number is from the other. So we can visualize this on a number line. So I'm going to show 39 and 145, and I'm thinking about, well, what is that distance? What is that distance between those numbers? Well, it'd be so much less work for me mentally if I could subtract 40 instead of 39. So let's go ahead and make that change. Let's go ahead and make 39 into 40. So I'm going to mark that on my number line. But if I'm going to subtract, I can't just suddenly subtract 145 minus 40. You can see that would be a shorter distance. That would not be the same difference. So I'm going to have to maintain that constant distance. So I'm going to actually just shift that distance. I'm going to shift it so that it starts at 40, which means it's going to end at not 145, but rather 146. So I moved a distance of 1 to go from 39 to 40, so I have to move the same distance for my other part of my subtraction problem so that the distance remains the same between 146 and 40, just like that same distance was for 145 to 39. So that means that 145 minus 39 is equivalent to 146 minus 40. That means I can find the distance between 146 and 40, which is a lot easier. 146, so I take that 40 away, and I'm left with 106. So the difference between 146 and 40 is 106. And since that distance is the same as the distance between 145 and 139, then that means that the difference between 145 and 39 is also 106. So by adjusting both of those numbers and making an easier number to subtract, I still maintained that same distance and I created that equivalent subtraction problem that was so much easier for me to do mentally. Let's try another one. I have 186 minus 68. So let's visualize this with a number line. So that's the distance between 68 and 187. So I want to make this problem easier. What if instead of subtracting 68, I was just subtracting 70? I can do that. I can make that change. I'm going to bump up 2 on the number line, so I'm going to go from 68 to 70, which means I'm going to have to bump up 2 here so that I can shift that same distance, that same length, between 70 and another number. So I'm going to add 2 as well, and that means I've created an equivalent expression. 187 minus 68 is equivalent to 189 minus 70 because they maintain that same distance on the number line. So I can do that problem a lot easier. 189 minus 70, well, I'm going to take away 7 tens right here, leaving 1 10 behind. So that would be 119. So the difference between 189 and 70 is 119, and since that distance was the same, I maintain that constant distance or that constant difference, then that means 187 minus 68 is also equal to 119. Don't believe me? Check it on your calculator and you'll see that the difference between these values are the same, and we can see that on the number line because that same distance or difference is maintained. I made that same shift to both of the numbers on the number line so that the distance would remain the same. Thanks for learning with me.